What exactly is social anxiety, Matan?
Yeah, so social anxiety is so we talked a lot about fear, right? And worrying. So when people really worrying about everything and what people think of them. So if we take it to their main five areas of our life that we worry, it can be career, intimate relationships, social, health, and money. So we want to really focus on the social aspect of really worrying. And what's social anxiety is really worrying, over worrying what people think of you. And so when you're in social situation, you're really hyper aware of what people think of you. You're in your head a lot, worrying. You're also predict catastrophes like rejections. So you're really being aware of what people think you. In psychology, they call it mind reading. So they do it a lot. People who have social anxiety, they read people's mind. They try to understand what they think of them, and because they see worst case scenario in their head, being alone, getting rejected, and we're going to talk about it in later, why it's connected and related to that. But that this is the worst case scenario. So in order to avoid this worst case scenario, we try to avoid the steps that lead there. Which one of them is, if someone think something negative of us, that means I might get rejected, that means I might be alone, and all those kind of possibilities and events that we want to avoid. So yeah, it's basically really when you're around people, you're tense a lot of the time because you don't want them to see you, I don't know, certain moves, certain things that you're going to say, certain things that you're going to do. So you're very self-conscious, you're very aware of your thoughts, you're very aware of certain body movement and things like this. And really something that take the joy out of life, because we are human beings and we really like to be in social situations. And when you have a hard time really being around people, so it takes a lot of the joy in life when you can't relax, can't enjoy being around people. And that's what
What what
social
are some of the
anxiety.
symptoms? I mean, you just mentioned a lot of them right now, like being around people, you're always worried basically about what those people are thinking about you. So you're
Right.
like completely self-conscious all of the time about what you're doing. Is instead of paying attention to them, you're probably only paying attention to yourself,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what does a person with social anxiety feel emotionally? Like what is that anxiety like?
Well, um, so again, people who worry, people who have anxiety, they have hard time accepting emotions. I know you're emotionally, you're a master in emotions. And so the reason we worry, the reason we do all of these activities is, again, to avoid certain emotions that are painful. So we try to avoid emotions of what people think of us, if they think something negative of us, if they're gonna reject us. That brings really a lot of negative emotions. And what we're doing, again, we worry and worry and worry in order to really avoid these emotions. And as you probably know, the more we resist something, the more power it has. It doesn't lose power, it gains more
Whenever you
momentum.
resist, you persist.
Exactly, it persists,
Mhm.
and it's true for our being with social situations. So imagine a situation when you are scared what people think of you. You are trying to avoid certain emotions, and that just make you more self-aware, make you more being in your head and not accepting certain emotions. And the long-term effect is really not enjoying being around people, and it bring a lot of suffering to life, because again, we really a social being and we want to be around people, we want to feel loved. It's our birthright, and when we are not able to have this really basic need of feeling love and feel connection, it destabilize a lot of how we feel in our day to day, and how we walk in life in terms of confidence, in terms of what we believe about ourselves. So really, social anxiety, it's about social, but it has effects to all our areas of life, because it's so foundational, it's so basic for us to be around people. So when we don't have it, it affects our career, it affects our relationship with our bosses, it affects our relationship with intimate partner, and with our health as well.
So it's like, to a certain degree, you pretend that you're socializing, but you're not really socializing.
Um,
Or like when you're socializing, you're pretending to be like you expect people to be what you are supposed to be.
so with fears, there are things we avoid and there are things we compensate. Okay. So there are
Okay.
things we don't do. So, for example, if you have social anxiety, you might not say what you really want to say. Okay. You might avoid conflicts with people. You might avoid saying what you want to say around people or going to a person to speak with. Now, on the other side, on the compensation side, to compensate on this fear, what people gonna do is be over nice to people, try to please people when we don't want to. And what we're really doing is kind of lying to ourselves because we're not who we are, and we're stopping ourselves from doing certain things. And we're also doing things that we don't want to do. So we live in this lie, and how can we feel good about ourselves when we're not authentic, we're not who we are, and we try to avoid certain things, and we try to compensate with our fears with other things. So it's really being in this space of not being who you are, um not loving yourself, and it's just because you're not who you are, so that means you're living life with your fears. And as long that you do that, you'll never be able to understand that you're actually safe, and that you can be who you are with certain situations. So you will never be able to let go of those patterns of worry until you be who you are. That way you understand, okay, I can be who I am, I can be myself and still be loved, still be okay. So really having this worry, social anxiety, it's a vicious cycle, because again, we it's self prophecy. Okay, so if we worry about something, we're gonna see it happens. But as long that we keep the patterns of worry, avoiding things and compensating with other things, we'll never be able to understand that we're good for who we are.
So I believe that there must be a lot of inner dialogue, right?
Hmm.
For someone that is experiencing this kind of anxiety. What is that inner dialogue like? Like, what do people with this kind of anxiety talk to themselves like?
Yeah. Um, it's gonna be so if we have the worst case scenario. So again, the worst case scenario is being alone. The worst case scenario is being rejected. So what we try to do with our thinking, we try to avoid every possible scenario before this worst case scenario. So if there is the worst case scenario here, we try to avoid anything in between, and that means trying to understand what people think of us. So we read their minds, we try to also, we are hyper aware to how they look at us, their facial expression. So we literally try to avoid all of that, and that comes in our head with worrying. Basically, we have this mental activity of worrying about those kind of things. So again, you're really not in the moment. You catch something in someone's face, and that's all you think about, that's all you see, and you literally worry about that the whole interaction.
You start ruminating at the same time that you're trying to live the
Exactly.
present.
Ruminating, we like the terms chewing, because you can
So,
chew on a gum for days and days, right?
yes,
And there's no result in it. So that's literally
that
what's
must really take a lot
worrying.
of energy. A lot of
Take
energy.
a lot of energy, and also tension is very related to that, because again, we try to avoid saying certain things or not saying certain things to people, um and also we're scared, okay, what they're gonna see. So a lot of people, they don't want people to see that they're holding a cup, so they're moving like this. So they're actually more tense because they're scared from that. So really a lot of tension in the body. And what I found that we're scared of, and we try to control and try to get certainty, and on things that we cannot control. Okay, so it's not in our head what people, not in our hand what people think of us. It's not in our head what's gonna future gonna hold. So we do our best, but when you try to control something you cannot control, that takes a lot of energy because you can't control it.
Of course.
I can't get in your head and try to change what you think of me. No, I can do the best I can. This is what I can control. But what you think of me, that's on yours.
And try and worrying about what other people think of you must be really exhausting at the end of the day. No, it's like you can't be yourself because you want to be what people expect you to be or what you would expect them to think about you.
100%.
Okay,
It's like,
what does it feel to be on the other side of this? You were you. I mean, in your life story, you were like this, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what does it feel to be on the other side of this?
On the side of someone who worry.
Yeah, to break free from social anxiety.
Oh,
What was it for you like?
being on the other side is really a game changer. There, like where I was, I'm still not perfect, 100% there, but I've done a long way out of it. And yeah, being in this space of really, again, it's a basic need for us to be around people and socialize. And when you can't do that, when you're always in your head, inside yourself. And also one thing that a lot of chronic warriors do, people who have social anxiety, even after the interaction, you're trying to think what you did wrong. Okay, so you're, because you care so much what people think of you, so you worry in what you did wrong. And another big symptom of that is actually it's affecting our self-love. Why?
Because
Because
you must
when we
really punish yourself to a certain degree.
exactly. Exactly. You're punishing yourself. You have this standard of perfection. I have to be such and such. I can't say things to other people. And then after the interaction, you worry what you did, what you didn't say, and you can't let go of the past. So you're literally in this cycle again of worry, even after the interaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And and I believe now you're helping people get through
yeah,
this social anxiety.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you
So
share something with them, the people that are listening that are experiencing social anxiety?
of
What
course,
what would be a good tip for them?
of
What can you
course.
share with them?
Let's start and talk about why people actually have social anxiety in the
Okay.
first place. So we said they're scared of rejection, scared of being alone, but it's really not about uh, the outside world. It's really about the internal world. So what do I mean by that? Um, the beliefs like I'm not good enough, beliefs like I'm not lovable, and beliefs like there is something wrong with me, those three beliefs are the cause, the root of social anxiety. Okay, and the reason for that, so I remember I told you we're scared from rejection, we're scared what the future gonna hold, but we're not scared of it for the sake of scaring from the event. We see the event as personal if it's gonna happen. We are scared from the event because of what it says about us. So it's like a mirror. This event happens, and then you automatically interact it, and you automatically interpret the event as I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, there is something wrong with me. So it's really those beliefs that we hold within ourselves, and for a lot of us, it's the things that we went through our childhood, things that we wait happened to us in school. People tried to lower us, and they didn't treat us well, or our parents, they didn't treat us well, and they're screaming at us. It doesn't have to be a big traumatic experience. It can be any event that causes us to believe that we're not lovable. Let's say if your father or your mother, they're angry at you, and the interpretation that you created in your head is they're angry at me because I did something wrong. That means I'm bad. Okay, so and we really want to understand that what happens. Maybe they had a bad day. It's really not about us. Okay, but we took it personally, and we created a belief within ourselves of I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, and there is something wrong with me. Okay, now those three beliefs are very very dangerous, and again, because they can lead to a lot of what I just said, avoiding things. So a lot of people actually that they have social anxiety, they're not even putting themselves in front of people at all, so they're avoiding it. They don't want to even deal with that. Okay, and that's one thing that we want to remember. First of all, don't avoid. Okay, you want to really always face your fears, and the reason being is because when you're avoiding, you will never understand that you can be okay even with your worries. But if you're avoiding thing, you will never be able to understand that you can go to the other side of your worries. Okay, so it's like the comfort zone. I'm not going to leave the comfort zone, um, and then you're avoiding doing things that actually make you understand that you don't need to worry. So first thing that we want to do is really expose ourselves rather than avoid things, especially when it comes to social situations. Okay, and the other thing, this is a tip that I can give people. So first of all is really exposing ourselves and not avoiding those situations, the things that we're scared of, basically. So to expose ourselves to them as much as possible, because only with the exposure we're able to understand that first of all we can deal with the event. So if rejection happened, we understand that we're able to deal with that. But if we're not dealing with that, if we're avoiding it from the first place, we will never be able to understand that we can deal with that. Okay, and so first of all, know that you're capable to deal with that, and you can do it only with exposure. And also, there's a sense of confidence when you have fear and you go to the other side. You're acting in phase of fear. You get this sense of confidence that you can actually deal with life. You can deal with things, and if you make small steps in the emotional world, it can make huge impact in other places in your life. So if you're acting, you're exposing yourself, you gain this sense of confidence, and it can carry to other areas of our lives, basically.
Okay. So in a sense, if you start facing it, it starts to you start being more open to it. You start being more open to losing the fear of social anxiety, losing the fear of what people think about you.
100%. So yeah, again, you want to expose yourself because that way it's the only way to change your beliefs. Okay, so we really want to work on two things here. First of all is the internal world. It's our belief system. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to really take a mental even inventory of our belief system. Okay, so we want to think about those three beliefs: I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, and something is wrong with me. It can be even some of them, it doesn't have to be all three. Okay, but those are the three beliefs that the root issue of social anxiety. Those three beliefs, they're actually the reason people have social anxiety. Okay, so first of all, we want to work with the inside world to not necessarily change those beliefs, because what we want to do once we are able to see those beliefs in a different way, and then again with acting on the outside world, then we're able to see that once we challenge the beliefs, that the new belief is actually truth. So we work together with the inside and the outside world. We challenge the beliefs, and then we act as well, and we're able to see, okay, I'm actually lovable, people like me, and so what I'm scared of is not actually true, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Completely. So you're challenging by challenging your beliefs, you demystify them.
Yes,
So they become invalid. You invalidate them.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, exactly. So they lose their power, and then the new beliefs, so you act on believing that you're lovable, you believe that you're good enough and that you're good as everybody else. Then it amplifies those beliefs, and then you're able to really create a new reality. Now one
That's a
thing that is,
fantastic approach.
yes, yes, it's very cool. It's very cool. Now very important to know, those beliefs, people been living with those beliefs for years and years and years. It can be 10 years, it can be 20 years, 40 years, 30 years. Some people, I actually had the belief that something is wrong with me from I think about the age of 3, 4, 5. And the reason I had this belief is because I grew up without a father, and I thought that because everyone else have a father, something is wrong with me. Okay, so we really have those seeds from a very, very young age of how we interpret uh, life and experiences, and those seeds started to grow and grow and grow. Okay, and all of a sudden it could be one event that trigger everything. It can be one rejection, it can be breaking up with an ex-girlfriend, something like this. And then this seed starts to grow within our mind, and again it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's what we believe, that's what we see, and it feeds, and the energy feeds on each other, on the beliefs, that we are not lovable, not good enough, and something is wrong with me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this pretty much explains those beliefs and how to challenge them, and that is fantastic.
Yes.
So, Matan, what precisely do you do? Like, can somebody reach up to you if they're experiencing this?
Yeah, yeah. I want to give a tip, if you don't mind, for
Yes, please.
people. So we talked about two ways of doing it. First of all, is dealing with ourselves, and second of all, you want to get new evidence from the real world that those beliefs are not truth. And how we challenge those beliefs. So again, you need to do beliefs inventory. So I'm not lovable. Why I believe that I'm not lovable. So you need to write it down. Why do I believe? And it's really intuitively, okay? So I believe that I'm not lovable because I don't have the right car. I don't have a house. I believe that I'm not good enough because I don't have six pack. Uh, um, all those kind of beliefs. Something is wrong with me. Um, I don't know, because I have hair on my neck, whatever. And those, some people believe those beliefs. And we
Mhm.
want to make an inventory on those beliefs so we can actually understand our psychology better.
So,
Next thing
becoming
we want to,
aware. First step is
exactly,
becoming aware.
yes, always. And the second thing to do is challenge those beliefs. Okay. And how do we challenge them? Is that really truth? Okay. So let's say um, I'm not lovable because I don't have a nice car. Okay. Or I'm not good enough because I don't have a nice car. Is there other people that don't have a nice car and they know that they're lovable? Probably. So you want to really collect evidence like this. Also, is it possible that in my life I had a not a nice car, or what I believe is a nice car, and I knew that I'm lovable? Maybe at the age of 18, I didn't have a perfect car, but I knew absolutely that I'm lovable. Okay. So that's one way of challenging those beliefs. And yeah, so really we want to challenge those beliefs with doubt inducing questions. Okay, is it really truth? Other people that I know have the same circumstances as me, and they don't think the same way as me. Where in the past had the same circumstances, but I didn't feel and I didn't think the same belief. And you also want to switch this belief. So I'm not lovable because I don't have the car that I want. You want to switch the belief to I'm lovable no matter what. And then the other approaches is really challenging this belief. But my approach is have this new belief and act from this belief. So rather than challenge the old belief, we want to go to the new belief.
Reinforce the new one.
Exactly. So we want to always remember I'm lovable no matter what, and acting during the day on this belief. That's why we strengthen the memory cell within our body. We strengthen the neural plasticity, the neurons in our brain. So we're acting, and all of a sudden, that's going to be the strongest belief. That's going to be the strongest memory in our brain, and the one that we don't believe in gonna weaken slowly, slowly, and that's going to be our new reality, and that's what we're going to see in our world. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the cycle of belief, action, and results. So this is a cycle: belief, actions, results. So if you have a belief, again, I'm not lovable, so you're gonna avoid certain things, you wouldn't say certain things, and that's going to create certain actions in your life. Again, you try to please people, you try to avoid certain situations and things like this. So you're going to act on those beliefs, and those beliefs going to create very similar results. Okay, now those results will reinforce the beliefs that you're not lovable. So it's really a cycle. That's why you want to change the beliefs. You want to also change your actions. You want to see the 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 patterns that you've been doing with the word. So you want to really become aware of those patterns and change them. That will create new results in your life. Those results will reinforce the new beliefs. I'm not lovable. I'm good enough, and that way you're going to create the reality that you want, and you're going to feel better, and you're out of social anxiety.
Wow.
Yeah, you can tell that I'm excited about this topic, right?
So of course, I mean, why wouldn't you be? You actually went through it, and now you're helping people go through it as well, which is
Exactly.
exactly what a mentor is, and it's the best way to actually, if in life you are looking to overcome something, the best way to do it is find someone that has already overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the easiest and the best way to do it. That way you don't have to do it alone. Because see, I mean, I do believe that what people really need is always to know that they're not alone in
Right.
something. And when you know you're not alone, and that someone has seen the light at the other on the tunnel where everything is dark for you, then it's easier to go through that dark tunnel. And when people like you are willing to help other people go through that dark tunnel because you know the way to the light, is extremely valuable. I believe that is the most valuable thing that can be out there. People that are willing to actually do that. So,
Yes.
how can people
Yes.
contact you?
Yeah. So you just say that, and you have the picture behind of you of the bridge, and it really reminds me of taking someone by the hand and really take them to the other side of the bridge. So this is just something that came up. I love this picture. Uh, it's very interesting. Yeah, so currently I'm looking for a few people, not a lot, because I want to give the best value to those people, and I want to help them get out of worry, not only social worry, but worry about money, worry about career, worry about intimate relationships, and social anxiety. So all those, and I really I'm building a course right now that proven to help. And I shared with you some techniques here, so I really know what I'm talking about. And the reason I know what I'm talking about is because in the past 8 years, I was looking for a way. I made a commitment to get out of worry, and I got out of worry. And now it's really my life mission to help as many people to break free from worry. So for now, I really want to work with a handful of people, really one or two people who are committed to break free from worry, or decisive, and they will do whatever it takes in order to break free from worry. So if they want, I'm going to leave a link down there with our website on how to apply. I opened some time slots for people that actually are serious to break free from worry, so we can actually have a discussion, and hopefully, if they're ready and that it's a good fit, we can work together to get them to the other side of the bridge or the tunnel.
Fantastic, Matan.
I'm gonna leave the link, but also the link is www.becomeworryfree.com/apply. I'll say it again: www.becomeworryfree/apply. And I'm looking forward to love on people and really help them, and I'm committed to get them to the other side as well.
That is fantastic, Matan. Thank you so much for sharing. And I believe this is so valuable for anyone listening to us. And yeah, take action. If anyone
Yes,
listening to this suffers from that, from worrying, take action. That's the first
exactly.
step. Is the first and most important step. Take action.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, my man. Wish you the best, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for
Yeah,
everyone for listening.
thank you so much for sharing, Matan, and we'll be in contact. Okay,
Sounds great.
everyone listening to us, see you soon for soon more videos to come, and hope you
Yes.
are enjoying our content.